But we'll move on to a crowd favorite segment. Again, this is an MPLI recall. Trademark is a recall segment, and it's called Guest Coin. Okay? This is Gideon's first guest coin. And real quick, let's explain the mechanics. Chat, you know what to do. You can join in as well. There will be a test. There will be a sample statement here. And, all right. The sample statement goes like this. All right? Gideon Q, most handsome caster in MY. Okay? Gideon Q, most handsome caster in MY. That is the sample statement. And then we're going to either buy, sell, or hold. Buy means you agree completely. Sell means you disagree. Tell us why. Hold means you'd rather abstain. Okay? So Gideon seems to be really thinking about this sample. Okay? He's just thinking about, like, do I buy, sell, or hold here? Naisu, what do you think?
I'm buying, bro. I'm buying. Look at that pose. He's got it. He's got it down. He's got it down.
He's trying to make us buy in. So I have to agree. I'm buying in as well.
Renmar gets two votes because he's got two heads.
You have 2 hit votes.
His gargoyle's got a vote too.
Does the gargoyle agree with you?
MPL Malaysia has a really good-looking cast of talents. You know what? Let's go with buy for now. Let's go buy for now.
Okay.
I like that.
So you and Lil Renmar, you and Renmar Jr., you guys buy. Okay.
Yeah.
Gideon, you have a say. Come on. There's you gotta acknowledge the game. So is it buy, sell, or hold?
I would like to hold because I abstain. Some people just know it. Others wish they were like it. But I think it's safer just to keep the truth hidden.
Okay. All right. So he will not acknowledge it with a response, but I think we all know it's a majority buy. Okay, real quick. Gideon, can you give a shout out to John Michael? Because John Michael's been asking for a shout out. You're his favorite caster, bro.
Hey, yo! Shout out to you, John Michael. Hopefully, you clip this and you can show it to your, future generations to let you know.
Okay,
to
love it.
let
As
them
well.
know what your favorite hobby is.
Amy sending us a solid 200 stars. There you go. Amy, thanks for dropping by. Okay, bye, hands down. Okay, let's move into the real statements. Little baby Renmar still in focus. First statement goes as such. Buy, sell, or hold. Chat, you can join in. Indonesia, still the region to beat. Buy, sell, or hold.
I'm Filipino, man. Buy. I'm sorry.
Wait,
Oh wait, no, sorry. Sell. I got way too excited with my hype and my bias that I messed up. So sell. Change that to sell. I didn't mean buy. Sell. Yo, Direk, parang bagal naman dong. Ano ba yan? Sell. Direk,
Okay. I will also sell. I acknowledge Indo Pride. I acknowledge what Onic ID did and how strong BTR and AE were, but I think our time is yet to come. I honestly think Blacklist is gonna pull a Bren. And honestly, Onic this time around seems more dominant than Omega than like last season or last World Championships. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna sell here. That's just me.
All valid points, boys. I'm selling.
Okay. The bro still in it. Gideon, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. I don't think I'm gonna copy and paste. I think we really have to look at this from an interesting standpoint here because Indonesia, as of right now, the one thing that's stopping me from selling straight up is the fact that it's most likely that there's going to be a patch update just before M3. And I think that's the biggest issue I have right now because that kind of sets everybody back to zero. Right now, in terms of where the meta is going, it's very Indonesian favored. Blacklist kind of figured out a way to beat aggro in this particular meta. Indonesia figured out a way to kind of tempo that out. And if the meta changes in any way possible, it's about who can figure out the meta the fastest. And Indonesia isn't always the fastest, as I've learned from M2. So I'm gonna say buy for this one, assuming the meta doesn't change as much as it does right now.
All right, I respect
I'm
that.
buying into it.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, for now, like it's a buy asterisk for
Great
now.
points.
Okay, solid. Okay, chat is a majority sell. I mean, these are Filipino fans, so good answer. Okay, let's move on to the next statement. See you soon is the new Burmese ghouls. Meaning, see you soon's gonna go deep. See you soon is gonna shock the world. They're gonna be a dark horse that just dominates very, very strongly in the World Championships. And that's the statement that we're going with now. Do we buy, sell, or hold, boys? See you soon. The new Burmese ghouls.
I'm gonna go straight up and say sell here because I don't think it's SYS. It's either gonna be Bedell, BTK, or one of the Brazilian teams. Yeah.
So the Turkish the North Americans, or one of the Brazilians. So it's Cade Stars or friggin' Canids. Really?
Red Canids.
That's where you think?
Yeah.
That's where you think the Burmese ghouls are gonna be coming from? Wow. Okay, so you're selling hard. Okay, because guys, we have to note Renmar did his research, so he knows how these teams play in comparison to See You Soon. So, okay, thank you, my mans. All right. Oh, Gideon, I think you will appreciate this. There's a fan who says, Andrew says, hold because he thinks SMG is gonna pull a Burmese ghouls.
I would say it's a little bit more likely in that if that was the particular statement. But I think for See You Soon is the new the thing that's off-putting about this statement is the fact that you're referencing Burmese ghouls, and I think that's one of the few teams who are so blatantly obviously good that it's like it's very easy to say, oh, if you put this other team against them, how would they fare up? And then you're like legitimately concerned, right? If I put SYS against literally any other team there's like they could win. It's not like there's a guarantee to it. I feel with the Burmese ghouls, they've had an incredible legacy of M1 and coming into M2, going all the way to be the first runner-ups. That's really hard to beat. I think I'm gonna sell here. I think See You Soon is an incredibly aggressive team, but to have a legacy like Burmese ghouls, I don't think that's possible.
I get it. Yep, you're right. It's nothing against See You Soon. It's more of just Burmese ghouls is something else. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I think I'll sell as well. I'm definitely looking at the non-MPL regions for this sleeping dragon approach. Like a team that's very well ingrained into their meta and then just shocks the system. Yeah, it's going to be someone that's been around longer than See You Soon. Maybe if you said not, oh my god, Navi! Woo! No, if it was someone like maybe if you said something like if for some reason it was Impunity KH that was here, maybe I would have been closer to a buy. Because Impunity KH has been here a little longer. But yeah, it's a sell for me. Nice. What you think, bud?
I'm also going with sell. The reason being is because I love an underdog story, and I feel like SYS is seen as the underdog and everything. But similar to what you said, Leo, looking at the non-MPL regions, I feel like it's good. Like M3 is going to be that moment for them, specifically BTK, like from NA. Like I want to see them play on the international stage. I'm actually low-key rooting for BTA to go far too. It's funny because when I started watching more MLBB streams, actually one of the first streams that I found was Mobazane, and I used to watch him a ton. And I think like NA has such untapped potential because of the fact that they didn't have an MPL, and now they're going to be going to M3, and I think they have enough practice, enough research and VODs to really learn from there. And now the NA region in most MOBA games or gaming in general is usually not expected. Like they're not the ones that people expect to go all the way or whatever, right? So for me, I'm going to sell because I also have my eyes on different teams, mostly the non-MPL region teams.
Okay, so guys, I think even chat agrees with us. There's such a legacy that Burmese Ghouls have built. Now, looking back at it, that See You Soon is just too much of a new team to actually live up to that role. Now, let's move on to our next statement. This one goes a little something like this. SG teams will surprise us in M3. We now know for sure that Singapore will be the host country, but it's no secret, and this is objectively speaking, that SG, their meta, it's relatively underdeveloped compared to other MPL regions. They have such a small sample size, and they find it hard to excel when put up to an international stage. So that's what this statement means, I believe. That maybe in M3, they will shock us. Maybe they'll show us something new, and they'll perform out of their minds. I'd like to buy. I'll go first. I'd like to buy. Optimistically speaking, I'd like to buy.
Okay.
Okay, Renmar, you were gonna go
Okay.
ahead and say something. Yes.
Sel,
Little Renmar first. Little Renmar Jr. first. Go ahead.
Sal, I'm sorry. It's gonna be hard, Sal, for me. There's something about the MPLSG teams that I feel like even the other teams outside of Southeast Asia might give them a run for their money.
like legit, dude. Nothing against MPLSG and the SG teams. I'm a fan of Soul. I'm a fan of Potato of Evo's SG, but when it comes to the SG teams, like clearly, like when you think of who the strongest team is, there thing that comes to mind really is just Evo's SG, and you know they're gonna perform, but even in their own table, in their own group, where they have, if I'm not mistaken, I have to double check that, but I know their group is weirdly, it has BTK, Navi, and then one more team there that slipping my mind. They might just actually get surprised by the other teams there. Yeah, when we think about the teams outside of Southeast Asia, we think of them underdeveloped. But with what the other teams have shown, specifically with what Nice has mentioned about BTK, whereas yes, I know BTK is clearly the strongest team in NA, but they have shown some flashes of brilliance that I feel like they can really stand toe to toe with the other Southeast Asian teams. There's something about SG with how they play, how they rotate, how they have a clear dependency on the marksman in terms of the jungle. But then at the same time, when that happens, it seems like there are moments where in game they look like you can't really tell what's going on because you don't know like what they're trying to do next, and there seems to be an inconsistency to them that I feel like is worrying if you're an SG fan. It might be different though. I mean, with Seoul's experience in the World Championships, EVOS might have a deeper run in it for SG. But right now, I'm sorry, it's gonna be a sell for me.
Yeah. Okay. A sell. We're very conservative here. I'm optimistic. People are becoming either realistic or conservative. Ray Ash says hold as well. Like he's not sure. It's so hard. There's so many things in play, and to ask the teams to kind of step up in the span of a month might be a little too much. I don't know. Nice, what you were about to say before Renmar Jr. Answered. What do you got?
I was gonna sell, and it's nothing against the Singaporean teams. You know, their two reps are what EVOS and RSG, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I just feel like even with the changes, or even the possibility of the meta switching up or a patch coming out, changing things, I just feel like they're lacking in terms of where everybody else stands. And I think, especially with they're still relatively new. I mean, what season was it? The recent one, season for Singapore. It's very new. Season 2, yeah. So, and I feel like I don't think they're going to necessarily surprise us for M3. I just feel like they're lacking something with the other teams. So that's how I feel about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell.
Okay. All right. Gideon, how about you? You used to share a region with. You used to share an FPL. What do you think?
You know, if considering if I knew nothing about them, and they weren't so close to our country. You know, they weren't part of the MPL, MYSG at one point. I would say sell, but this time I am actually going to say buy. I do believe that some foreign teams will surprise us in M3, and here's why. Mainly because of the group draw itself. If we're looking at the groups, a lot of the teams that they're going up against, I don't think they're exactly going to be at a level of which we should be expecting to be at. Like, am I expecting these outer regions to be playing like RRQ at the end of the day? No, not at all. I think this is one of the few opportunities where the draw is extremely important and the groupings are extremely important for Singaporean teams. I think they've got one of the best chances of getting a really good seed, or at least make it past the first 2 rounds of playoffs. And I think that's the most important part here, because so far they haven't made it past the second round in playoffs in M1 all the way up to M2. M3, it just might be different, and I think their chances are significantly better than Malaysian teams, especially since we basically got the group of death for one of them. So you know, going based on probability, I think SG teams, they should be able to surprise. They have the best opportunity to go far.
All right. You know what? I was just going off of pure instinct and just hoping. Gideon actually laid it down. They actually have the ramp up. They actually have the tools and the setup to do well, to do much better now, and to surprise us as compared to the previous World Championships. Okay, let's move on to the next statement. And for this one, I believe Renmar has to turn into actual big Renmar now. It can't just be Renmar Jr. So cue the evolution.
Why is it way bigger? Why is it super zoom?
Mega Lucian.
Okay, so this next statement hits a little close to home for Gideon. I'll let you go first, man. Malaysian meta shakeup needed to show up. All right, so that means internally Malaysian teams need to work it out before we can expect them to go further than ever before in the World Championships. Buy, sell, or hold.
I think I'm gonna have to sell on this one. I think it's based on the track record of Malaysia, and I want to be biased to Malaysia and say, like, yeah, I'm gonna buy into the meta shakeup here, but I'm too logical and I'm too much of a robot to say otherwise. Logically speaking, Malaysia has not been able to shake up the meta, no matter how many times people have kind of mentioned it, where it's just like, oh my god, they're going to do something different. Oh my god, maybe playing Beleric in the side lane is going to change things up. The problem is a lot of their ideas have already been A, done before, B, executed in a different way for a different situation, and they're just putting their own flair to it. It's nothing too crazy, it's nothing too new, and when you do see their fresh ideas, you get MPLI results. So personally, I can't buy into that. It's too volatile.
All right, so this is you just speaking the truth, real talk from Gideon. Don't try to shake it up, man. That's not the key. That's not it. Okay, all right. I will err on the side of creativity. I'd like to buy. I super enjoyed casting Moon on that show, and if we see more of that, then maybe, just maybe, they can kind of steer it towards that direction. Not to even mention, technically this is an Indonesian meta thing, but Renmar would be happy that I mentioned this. Ripo, playing that off-lane freaking Mincetar. He's technically a Malaysian, so if he's able to pull that off, and then we see that more, especially at M3, man, game's gonna change. So I'd like to buy here. I'd like to buy. Okay, Giant Renmar, how about you?
I agree with Gideon here. It's a sell. There's like for the past 2 seasons now, there's always been like, if in the Philippines our main export is, other than fantastic players, really great teams, and almost meta shaking performances, is, you know, our drama. We also have for Malaysia, I feel like the things that I always get a lot from them is their surprise pickups, especially when they decide to pick things like the Fanny and make it work really well, when they decide to put picks that we're not really used to in the XP lane. So Yeah, Malaysia has that history of like surprising us, but then at the end of the day, how is it gonna work in terms of actually making it work, executing it? And it's risky. If they can practice it really well enough, the theory behind it is really solid, and they can win a few games from it early on, sure, why not try it out? But history has shown, especially when it comes to the world championships, it's you don't really shake up the meta. You just come in with maybe one or two picks here there that are surprising, but doesn't really overturn everything and change the game for everyone. At this point, at the end of the year, barring any added patches, yeah, you don't shake up the meta at this point. It's really hard to. Not even the best of the best teams can really shake up the meta. Just refine it and add a little flavor to it, somewhat. So Malaysian meta shake up, yeah, hard to see.
Okay, nice. How about you, bud?
I'm selling too, man. I think the same thing. I don't think there's going to be a shakeup for M3. I think it's too crucial, too risky. Even with the new patch, there'll probably be some minor changes, that teams will do. But for Malaysian teams, very kind of similar mindset with Singaporean teams. I don't think they're going to surprise. I don't think they're going to shake things up. And so I am going to just keep it simple and sell.
Okay, this is just my fever dream. I just want to see a really weird meta and then just, I don't know if I'm casting M3, just go crazy and just, I don't know what the hell's going on. This patch, again, patch withstanding. Yeah, you're hoping for Gord, right? Nana, right? Angela, let's just bring it in. So it's
I'm hoping
just,
you're right,
again,
Leo.
Yeah, patch withstanding. If there's a huge patch that just changes the game, then maybe. But again, it doesn't even have to be the Malaysians who do it. Let's go. Yes.
Like last thing to include to this, yes, I clearly that the injection of Amon and Valentina, who will be available at some point during M3. In terms of actually changing the overall scope of the meta, they don't. But having them as options, yeah, might shake up banning priority somewhat. But at the end of the day, how the main strategies that we've been seeing the teams play, either going double sustain side lanes, funnel everything in the jungle, or having a gold laner who can scale up really well alongside the jungler as your late game late game priority, a late game insurance policy. Those won't change even with the injection of Amon and Valentina. They will still be there, so that will still be the meta.
Yeah. Again, just hoping. Cross fingers, maybe Valentina. But yes, Amon for sure. Last statement for this segment. Guys, you can jump in. This is a very Filipino statement. It's talking about Blacklist International. Blacklist needs a new code. Buy, sell, or hold. Blacklist needs a new code.
I'm looking at you, man. I thought I should have saw the light bulb just flick on.
I think Naisu is ready, but I also have it too. But go ahead.
This is the thing. Okay, I don't know if this is even the proper one. I want to hold. Is that right? Like, I want to hold because I don't think they need an entirely new code. I think they need to add to the code, right? They need to add to it and possibly, can you even refine the Ube strat, the code? I don't know if you can even refine it. So I think they need to add to the code. So I wouldn't say I don't know. Is that buying? Because I don't think they should get rid of Ube. It works great. But I think they need to have other codes in the pocket, if you will. So what is that? Is that hold? Is that buy?
I think it's
hold
sell.
makes sense.
Hold or sell, yeah. It's just adding. If you want to add, then yeah.
All right.
Okay. I was gonna say I was gonna buy.
Really? Why?
Well, at this point, Ube isn't even we're 2 seasons into Ube strategy, right? Like season 7 was dominated by that. Season 8, they won another championship with it. They came close
But
to
it's
MSC.
still Sarap.
Exactly. It's still sarap. So the more the world
Yeah.
understands that it's masarap, the more the world will figure out what the counter is. So they need something
That's why you
entirely
just add
new.
some cornflakes on it, you know, when there's actual ube in front of you. You
Oh,
just
I
add some
think
Oh
they
my
need a
God.
new main dish. I think they need a new main dish. And here's the thing:
Wow.
the Bane is a new dish. Bane Eve is a new
True.
dish. Bane Matilda is a new dish. That you can't call that ube, right? That's not the ube anymore. Because you for this whole time you see Edward very far, you see Alice, you see Oheb very far. So that's not ube. So that's a new code. I think they need to build something new. They need to make something new, whether it be the Bane, whether it be something else entirely. I don't know, but I do think they need something new. So it's a buy for me.
For me, it's gonna be a sell. Mainly because what's with the dramatic zoom in?
Just tell us why. Tell us why to sell.
Okay. So for you, the Ube strategy, because the Ube has evolved. I still like to call it as an Ube. We think of Ube as having the healers dominantly, but having the Bane included into the blacklist rotation of picks sort of made it a spicier Ube. Because if Ube is, you think about, okay, let's group up together, team fight, and heal through it, Ube is, let's group up together and burst the living hell out of them. That's what we saw with the Matilda and the Bane combination that were crucial to them winning the championships in Season 8. So that's why I consider that more of just like another flavor of the Ube strat and another evolution of it, which is why I don't want Blacklist to completely rewrite or come up with a new code. They've been doing really well. They went back to back. They made it to the finals of MSC and MPLI with their identity, with their very unique and very fundamental play style. So that doesn't need to change. But I'm agree with Naisu in that they need to add in a few more pieces, or maybe newer pieces. And yes, I still believe no matter how good you are, you can still refine how you play in certain ways. In MPLI, we saw a few decision making shortcomings on the side of Blacklist International. That's something that you can refine. That's something we've seen Blacklist International do really well with, those really clutch and surprising game decision making that they will get a win out of it. In MPLI, they got losses. You can refine that and improve that better. So they need few more additional new pieces, but keep the main code, that main identity intact, with some new flavoring. So similar to what Naisu, but more on the sell side than hold.
The reason why I want to buy, the reason why I say that they need a new code is because just because you have something new doesn't mean you undo what was there. So it's nice to have ube or it's other flavors, whether it be the Bane or the Matilda or whatever. It's nice to have that. But what if you have something new entirely? So yeah, maybe it's another way of saying adding. But yeah, I personally, just to clarify, I don't want them to get rid of that. That's soup. I love the whole defensive. I love the whole like we'll stick together. If we're losing, we wait. The Yusun Shin style. But yeah, what if there was a whole new blacklist? What if there was like an aggressive blacklist? How scary would that be for teams? That's where I'm coming from. Right? Like you're expecting to go 30, 45, and then they end in 10.
Yo, that'd be kind of sick though. An aggressive Blacklist International would be kind of sick. I don't know. Personally, I like aggro in general, no matter what game. As long as you can beat face and beat it fast, like, that's always a solid strategy. I don't know. Hearing everybody's opinions on this, I am going to have to say hard sell. This is going to be a hard sell for me. I don't think Blacklist needs a new code. I think their style of play is a result of everything they've kind of worked for. They kind of understand the way what's important in the game at a fundamental level. If they need to be They understand that aggression isn't necessarily the easiest way to win because it is the most volatile way to win. You need to bank on a 50-50 if you want to play aggressive. And that's why Blacklist, they seem very calculated and their moves are basically always in their favor. 80% of the time when they make a play, it is going to work out because they wait for every single little detail to fall in place before the move is made. And most of the time they can push it even to 100% where teams just have to respect the code. I think right now, Blacklist, they're getting focused hard. They're going to be having to prepare twice as hard compared to every other team. I don't think a new code is necessary. I think they just need to prepare for the weapons that are being thrown at them and adapt to them.
Mm-hmm.
As we saw from MPLI, RRQ, they had a good idea of how to play kung fu with Blacklist International, and then when Onyx Indonesia came in, they just took the chip, plugged it in. All of a sudden, they're Keanu Reeves. They know kung fu now, and they go back to back against them in the Matrix. Like, it makes sense that teams will take a huge focus on Blacklist, but I don't think they need a new code. I think they just need to prepare twice as hard, and I think they've got all the tools necessary to take it away.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully we get to see more of that Clint play by Oheb. He had one tremendous game with it. Hopefully Blacklist and Oheb decide to play Clint a little bit more because he plays the Alice really well, the Harith really well, and I want to see more of that Clint.
All right. So
I'm
again,
excited for that
a month.
too.
Yeah, a month's time, not enough time to expect something drastically new. Again, patch could also change things, but yeah, buy, sell, hold. If Blacklist needs a new code, we'll see how they show up at M3. Folks are also kind of split on this. A lot of them will say sell as well or hold. Some are saying sell or hold. So that much we can expect. So with that being said, we're going to be wrapping up this episode of Recall. Let's go ahead and throw it up to our final thoughts. Was a great show. I think there were a lot of points of discussion, points of argument, wherein we went different directions. But let's have our special guest first, Gideon, here. Final thoughts for today's show, man.
Hey, I think the show is great. I think, we've been talking a lot about Blacklist International, and I hope that they're going to put up a really good performance here coming in for M3 and all the Filipino representatives and all the fans out there. Hopefully it's gonna be good, dude. I can't wait for it. I definitely can't wait for it. Thanks for having me on the show. It's good to see, Naisu, Renmar, and as well as Leo all together and understand where this we Bear Bear situation is coming from. It makes sense now why Naisu is Ice Bear. It makes a lot of sense. We can all agree why.
I have no idea how people just figure
Why?
that out, and then it just
Why? I don't know why.
Okay, so Gideon. Okay, just as a touche, I am also excited to see Team SMG in full at full capacity. Like MPLI Team SMG really just was very different from what we should have seen. But yeah, maybe in M3 Malaysian champions show up. Renmar, how about you, man? Final thoughts.
International tournaments. I know we also have some international viewers here. So for M3, hopefully whoever team decides to advance, or who the teams that do advance, I hope you can continue supporting your country through win or loss. Through loss, no need to drag down your country's representatives. Again, this is our world championship. Teams will be playing at a whole nother level. This could potentially be the rise of the non-Southeast Asia teams. Teams from MPL Brazil, the NA teams, the Turkish teams, Middle East. You have the CIS region and Navi. So just expect it to be really great. And hopefully, keep showing your love, your support for your country's teams. And yeah, that's it.
All right. You mentioned Navi. Gideon's already in Navi colors. Let's wrap up with Daisu. Final thoughts, Ice Bear.
For me, man, I kind of mentioned it earlier. Super excited for M3. The biggest thing is I can finally watch it live and experience it with everybody else, right? but also I am just, my eyes are on the teams like Redmar mentioned, especially for the NA region, and hopefully to see some more limelight shown, like shining down on these other teams and organizations that we don't get to see often, because for the longest time it's been so dominant in Southeast Asia and just this part of the world. I'm glad that now finally we get to see these other countries come and represent their own regions and battle it out. And I think this is only just going to get better as time goes on, especially after this M3. I think it's just going to get even more interesting as time goes on. So I can't wait, and I'm super happy to be on this podcast again, and also to get to be here with Gideon. He was also someone that I watched when I was trying to get into casting and learn just the whole side of it. So it's been great to be here.
Gideon just got a little confused, flummoxed. He's just wasn't not expecting that. But let's wrap up and go ahead and throw it over to our socials. Gideon, my guy, thank you so much for making time. Where can people find you on the internets, and where can they see you next?
You can find me on the internet. You can follow me at the Fatal Five Way on Facebook, Fatal Five Way on Instagram. Come follow, and I post all my content there on both Facebook as well as Instagram. So you can check me out there. Usually we have Monday streams, which I haven't been doing, but hopefully during M3 I'll be able to get some streams out. Ideally, have a chit chat with everybody, and yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right. Let's hear from Ice Bear. Naisu, what are you up to, man? Where can people find you?
This little graphic here is a little confusing, but you guys, if you just type Naisu in any of these places, you'll probably find me. And, you know, I am going to be back into streaming, especially for upcoming M3 content. I have something planned there, which will be a surprise for my community over there. But, yeah, go ahead and find me. Daily updates everywhere. And thanks.
A surprise. I'm sure folks are on the lookout. Again, that's Naisu. Check him out. How about Renmar? Renmar Jr. Where can people find you, man?
You can find me at Esports Reptar everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and for YouTube, I'm already preparing scripts and just have to start recording them. But I will be doing content on my YouTube soon. That's Renmar the Reptar. Just look for that, and I'll be doing a series I call the Scouting Report for teams outside of the Southeast Asia region, because I know compared to the Southeast Asian teams, there aren't really that many eyes, or some people don't have time, or maybe even have a hard time finding the VODs for Brazil, for CIS, for Turkey, for NA. For some reason, there's some tremendous talent there, and I want to give the spotlight to them because they deserve it. They're really strong, and yeah, they're gonna high hopes for them come this World Championship. So yeah.
Scouting Report coming soon. Check them out once more. YouTube. Find Renmar over there. More content coming up. As for me, thank you guys once more for sharing the stream. Thanks for dropping by. You can find me at LeoCastsPH everywhere, basically. Just add a .com if you want to check out my website. I do not dance on TikTok, so just setting expectations. But yeah, more content and streams and whatnot, and live updates. I don't know. Ever since I started just posting whatever I was doing randomly on socials, people love that. So you can expect that much as well. So check me out there. As for Covenry, again, click like and follow and share. Thank you so much for being part of MPLI Recall. But with that being said, we're going to head on out of here. We're wrapping up the show. On behalf of Hacks and the whole Covenry family, maraming salamat. Gideon, how do you say thank you in Bahasa?
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. There it is. Gideon, we'll see you at M3. Godspeed on your flight, bud. And thanks for dropping by again. Everyone else, good night. Renmar, Naisu, peace out. Bye, guys.